I once transferred $500 for what was sold as an elite mentorship. I was promised the architecture of a digital empire. Instead, I received a masterclass in illusion. They gave me the exact blueprint to capture the algorithm's attention, and it worked perfectly. A single video spiked. It went viral. A tidal wave of metrics, thousands of eyes on my operation, an intoxicating rush of dopamine. And the final conversion? The actual capital generated from that massive spike? Zero. Absolutely zero sales. That was the moment the veil dropped. I realized I hadn't bought a business strategy. I had paid to become a cog in someone else's machine. The internet is overflowing with fake gurus who don't actually teach you wealth. They teach you noise. But how do so many intelligent, driven people fall into this exact same trap? The answer is invisible to the untrained eye. It's called neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. These self-proclaimed mentors are not financial experts. They are behavioral hackers. They use specific linguistic loops to bypass your critical thinking and directly target your biological survival instincts. They mirror your exhaustion. They validate your frustration. And then they anchor their product as the only escape route. They can only do this because your nervous system is operating on the frequency of desperation. When you are starving for a result, you become blind to the mechanics of the scam. Today, we are shutting down the noise. I am going to dissect the exact psychological framework they use to drain your capital, and more importantly, how you can build an impenetrable mental firewall to never be manipulated again. In neuro-linguistic programming, the foundational weapon of the fake guru is a technique called pacing and leading. It is a terrifyingly effective way to bypass your rational mind. First, they pace your reality. They look into the camera and describe your exact pain. They say, "You are exhausted. You are posting every single day. You are sacrificing your weekends, and yet the needle isn't moving. You feel like you are failing." When you hear those exact words, a biological shift happens inside you. Your neurological defenses drop. Your brain releases a subtle wave of relief because it feels understood. Your subconscious signals, "This person gets it. They are a safe harbor." That is the exact moment the trap snaps shut. Once they have matched your frequency of pain, they execute the lead. They introduce their product, the masterclass, the mentorship, the secret algorithm hack, as the singular, magical bridge between your current misery and absolute freedom. Because your critical thinking has been temporarily disabled by the emotional pacing, you don't see the logical flaws. You just see the escape hatch. So you wire the capital. And what happens next? You get a temporary high. Maybe you even get that viral video like I did. But virality without a solid, sophisticated infrastructure is just public bleeding. You attract thousands of dopamine addicts, not buyers. You build an audience of ghosts. The uncomfortable truth is this: you were not manipulated because you lacked business acumen. You were manipulated because your biological baseline was running on the frequency of scarcity. Let's look at the actual mathematics of a viral spike built on the hustle culture model. The fake mentors tell you to post relentlessly, use trending audios, and perform for the algorithm. So you do. You exhaust your creative and biological reserves. Suddenly, the machine picks you up. You get 1 million views, but you have to ask yourself, who exactly are those 1 million people? They are not investors. They are not buyers. They are dopamine scrollers, swiping through their feeds at the speed of light, looking for a temporary distraction from their own unaligned lives. When your content relies on cheap psychological triggers to generate clicks, you build an audience of consumers, not capital allocators. You have successfully gathered a massive crowd of people who have absolutely zero intention of opening their wallets. Meanwhile, the back end of your operation is completely empty. You have no qualification systems in place, no sophisticated architecture, just a link and a prayer. This is the ultimate trap of the modern digital economy. You are taught to optimize for the front-end noise while completely ignoring the back-end mechanics. You essentially become an unpaid employee of the platform. You are working for free to keep users on their app, and your only reward is a vanity metric that you cannot deposit into a bank account. Every single time you check your phone for a new view or a new metric, you are burning your biological capital. Cortisol spikes, focus shatters. The true cost of their strategy isn't just the capital you paid for the mentorship, it is the cognitive bandwidth you lose every single day. Bandwidth that should have been spent engineering real automated leverage. I didn't escape the noise by working harder. I escaped by going entirely offline. I shut down every notification, isolated my environment, and forced my nervous system to detox from the frequency of desperation. In that silence, I realized a fundamental truth about wealth. Human attention is a fragile resource, and it should never be wasted on manual, repetitive hustle. So, I built a firewall. Instead of trading my biological energy for views, I engineered a legion of robots, automated systems, algorithms, and invisible funnels designed to manage sales and content production 24/7 without a single ounce of my manual intervention. While the fake gurus were busy screaming into their cameras every single day, trying to hack human emotion, my machines were quietly qualifying traffic, filtering out the noise, and capturing real capital while I slept. The moment you remove your ego from the operation and let the systems do the heavy lifting, your biological baseline resets. You stop operating from fear. You become untouchable to manipulation because you are no longer starving for validation. You want a practical starting point? You need to stop touching the machine with your own hands. Manual posting is a symptom of anxiety. It forces you to consume the platform's noise every time you try to distribute your own message. Here is step 1 of the firewall protocol. The moment this video ends, you will select an automation node, whether it is Buffer, Metricool, or any systemic scheduling software. You will stop reacting to the market daily. Instead, you will take one afternoon, construct a 14-day loop of strategic content, and schedule it to deploy automatically. Once you hit execute, you log out. You do not open the app to check the metrics. You let the machine interface with the algorithm. You remove your emotions from the distribution process entirely. That is how you reclaim your cognitive bandwidth and take the first step in building your silent legion. That scheduling node is just one microsystem, a single brick in the firewall. It gives you your time back, but it doesn't rewire your frequency. Most people will schedule a few posts, feel a temporary sense of control, and within a week, they will inevitably fall back into the hustle trap. Why? Because their biological baseline is still operating on desperation. To completely insulate your operation, you need the entire architecture. You must align the mechanics of your business with the frequency of your nervous system. I have compiled the exact step-by-step architecture of this transition into a 50-page confidential protocol. The 21-day frequency reset is designed to permanently override your survival programming and construct your own silent legion. The laboratory is open. The protocol is in the description. Step in and take control of the machine or remain a ghost inside it. The choice is yours.